Hello everyone, if you are a Brazilian football fan and if you want to know everything that's going on in Brazilian football right now, this is your channel. My name is Ronaldo Ferreira and I'm speaking all the way here from São Paulo, Brazil. Please don't forget to subscribe, give us the thumbs up, okay? Leave a comment, share this video, and if you can and if you want to contribute to the growth of this channel, my PayPal account is in the first comment and in the description of this video. And for that, I thank you in advance. All right, let's go. So, all the information and comments about Rodada 6, round 6 of Brasileirão, which took place last weekend. Okay? So, it all started with Inter 3, Juventude 1, so the Southern Classic, all right? So Inter was playing a home game. Very good result for Inter. 3 crosses from Alan Patrick, number 10. Okay, so 3 crosses, 3 goals, like a corner kick, all right? Juventude is not exactly performing well outside Caxias. When Juventude plays in Caxias, they usually win, all right? But outside Caxias, they are home. They do not perform well, all right? So they need to be careful. Mirassol 2, Atlético Mineiro 2. Mirassol was winning. Mirassol scored the first goal. Then Atlético drew, and then Atlético scored the second goal. And Atlético was winning until the 47th minute, 7th minute of second half. And then Reinaldo went there, scored the goal. There was also another point for Mirassol. So far, Mirassol is doing really well in the first division. I don't know after what's going to happen after, 10th, 11th round. I don't know, but so far now, Mirassol, it's Mirassol's debut in the first division. They are doing much, much better than more traditional teams. So excellent result, Go Mirassol, all right? Every time I'm looking down, I'm reading, okay? So I will find a way to stop looking down, so don't worry. Ceará 1, São Paulo 1. Zubeldia, manager Zubeldia, he changed his mindset and he did what everybody was asking him to put the young players to play in São Paulo. São Paulo has a good history in young players formation. Okay, São Paulo has a huge training center for young players in a city outskirts here of São Paulo, Cotia, and they are there. They are available. They can play. And Zubeldia was insisting in some veterans such as Luciano. Now that Lucas and Oscar are not able to play because they are injured, said, put the young players to play. Why not? And there was a result. So Ceará scored an early goal, like 3 minutes, and São Paulo, in the 20th minute of first half, went there and scored with today is the São Paulo's golden boy, Rian Francisco. He's a good kid, he's a good player. If he's not transferred this window now in the middle of the day, he'll be transferred to Europe or somewhere else in next year's window. Sport 0, Fortaleza 0, the Northeastern, classic there. And the bad thing about this game that there was I don't know how to call that, so it was a mistake. If you're watching this from England or from Germany, try to remember Lampard goal in 2010 South Africa World Cup, where Lampard kicked, the ball hit the post and went down, which was a goal. But that time there was no VAR, no video assistant. Okay, in Brazil was the same thing, not in the same place, but the same type of kick. The guy kicked the ball, boom, okay, crossed the line, then went back to the game. The referee didn't see anything. He didn't validate the goal. He went to the video assistant, and the video assistant said, "You know what? You made a mistake, and we support your mistake again." Okay, so they did not validate the goal. So it was, I don't know how to describe this mistake. Just people are just blind. They just, I don't know what happened. Just like Lampard goal in 2010. So Lampard goal was not validated because there was no video assistant. But in Brazil there is. This today there is, and they didn't validate the goal as well. It's amazing. It was horrible, bad for sport. But I don't know. I don't know even how to describe this mistake. But it was a draw again. So Fortaleza Sport is still after 6 rounds. Sport has no victories, 0 victories. So Sport is in the bottom of the table, and it would help a lot. In this case, it was Fortaleza's goal, but anyway, bad, horrible mistake. The guy was just, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Botafogo 2, Fluminense 0. This is the 8th straight victory of Botafogo against Fluminense. Can you imagine that your team loses 8th time for the same opponent? Jesus Christ, that's not good, man. The game was in Newton Santos. Botafogo was a home game, so it's a good result for Botafogo. Botafogo, is recovering after draws and defeats, past draws and defeats. But this is the 8th victory, straight victory against Fluminense. Fluminense is like in Brazil we say Fluminense is the son, is Botafogo's son. Botafogo is Fluminense's father. That's the expression we use here in Brazil. Flamengo 4, Corinthians 0. This game was in Maracanã on a Sunday afternoon, and it was part of a celebration of the biggest TV broadcast in Brazil. I'm not going to say the name because I don't know if I can, but anyway, this TV broadcast is completing 60 years, all right? And there was a game to celebrate. This was a part of celebration. They have been celebrating this for the past week, and this game was to part of this celebration, and of course, but unfortunately, they forgot to invite Corinthians. Corinthians was not invited because they lost 4-0 at the 30th minute of first half. Flamengo was already winning by 3-0. Bad result for Corinthians. And in the second half, the beginning of second half, there was a penalty kick, and Flamengo scored, and then the game ended. So they just waited for the end. 4-0. That's it. The crowd was mad. It was like, everybody was happy, except Corinthians support and Corinthians players, Everybody else was happy. Vitória 1, Grêmio 1. Okay, so the home game for Vitória. And in this case, again, still no victory. So Vitória needs to start winning home games because, when they play away, they usually don't have a good performance, okay? But it was a good result for Grêmio, Grêmio with a new coach, Mano Menezes, beautiful. Palmeiras playing at home, so was defeated by Bahia 1-0. Very bad result, a major upset for Palmeiras, playing a home game after 7 straight victories in Campeonato Brasileiro and Libertadores. It was the first defeat for Palmeiras after 7 games, so nobody's happy, but anyway, it happens, so I have to understand. Cruzeiro 1, Vasco 0, all right? Cruzeiro did not play in Belo Horizonte because the home of Cruzeiro is Belo Horizonte, the city of Belo Horizonte, Minas Gerais state capital. They transferred the game to another city, Minas Gerais state, called Uberlândia, all right? They went there, they won the game, and as a result, Carille, another manager, lost his job. Fábio Carille was fired from Vasco. He was, his methodology was being questioned since the beginning of the year, but they kept him, and now lost. Cruzeiro is, bad shape. Cruzeiro is really bad. The players Cruzeiro hired are not performing well. Cruzeiro's coach is making some changes, so the team played better last weekend. But Carille was fired. Another manager lost his job, so he's the 5th manager to lose his job in Brasileirão. Santos playing home again against Bragantino was defeated 2-1. Okay, another home game, another defeat. It's the 2nd straight defeat, a home game for Santos. Okay, and as a result of this, last Monday, supporters invaded the training center in Santos, called the police. Everybody calmed down, and later, so Monday night, they announced that Kleber Xavier is the new coach. Kleber Xavier, if you don't know Kleber Xavier, don't worry, nobody knows him until now. So Kleber Xavier was the assistant coach of Tite. So Tite was the Brazilian national team manager until 2022, the World Cup in Qatar. Okay, he was in Brazilian national team for 6 years, and Kleber Xavier was his assistant coach. Okay, now Tite was contacted by Corinthians staff to become the manager. He accepted the terms, he accepted the salary, but on the day that he was supposed to, that was his presentation, he had a problem, a health problem. He had they say anxiety attack. He didn't feel well. He was like a high, heartbeat. And he said, you know what, I need to take care of my health, I need to be here. He lives Tite is from the south, so he lives there. He said, you know what, I think I'll take a break, I'm not going to work this year anymore. Kleber Xavier needs, to work. He accepted this Santos calling, and now he's the new coach, and César Sampaio, who was coaching the team, is going back to become the assistant coach. Okay, I have some interesting information to give to you today. All the four teams that are in the relegation zone: Santos, I see if I remember, Santos, Atlético, Porto, and I think it's Grêmio. So if I'm not mistaken, I'll check this. All these teams were the national champion at some point. Okay, so 4 clubs are in the relegation zone. They were, Brasileirão champions. I don't know if it's good or bad, but for me it's bad. And if they don't, I think Atlético and Santos have more chances to leave the relegation zone in the next round. But if they don't, they're going to be there. And in Brazil, there isn't I told in my other video, so in Brazil, there isn't any mechanism to help a traditional team to stay in the first division. If you don't perform well, you will be relegated and no questions asked, okay? So there isn't any mechanism to help a traditional team as opposed to some other countries, okay? This midweek, there is Copa do Brasil, okay? I will bring you the results and comments next Thursday or Friday. I think there'll be games on Thursday as well. Okay, but I'll make a video about these results, all right? And I have, only here you get this kind of information, all right? So I told you that Brasileirão, not Copa do Brasil. Copa do Brasil is the second championship we have here, so Brasileirão and Copa do Brasil. Brasileirão has a potential to become the 3rd most important league in the world. Today, Brasileirão is the most important league already outside Europe, all right? And Copa do Brasil, which is the 2nd most important championship, this year is going to pay, believe it or not, Copa do Brasil will pay more than FA Cup, all right? If you're British, if you're watching this video, true, I'm not inventing anything. You can check these numbers on Google. So, Copa do Brasil will pay to the champion 73 million reais. And FA Cup will pay to the champion, round numbers, 16 million. All right, so Copa do Brasil, mark my words, Copa do Brasil is paying more than FA Cup, okay? I will bring the results. I believe that's going to be the only clash between 2 teams of Serie A will be Palmeiras and Ceará. The other clashes will be traditional team for the 1st division and other teams from the 2nd and 3rd division of Brasileirão. All right? But don't worry, I will keep you informed, okay? And I will bring the results here or on Thursday or on next Thursday or next Friday. I guess that's it for now, okay? And I see you in the next videos.